It looks like Superman is the winner in the clubhouse for the summer performance of an adult movie. You know, something aimed towards the grown-ups and not so much aimed towards the little ones. This is not going to be an argument about who did what in the summer. It's just, frankly, the performance domestically, Superman is winning in that category. And it's also got some controversy. You see, James Gunn doesn't want to own up to what the Superman budget actually is, and is pushing back, or firing back, as some outlets are saying. We need to talk about what things actually cost and what they would like to think they cost, and the difference in the middle. So, here we go! Now, before we get started, Culturians, thanks for being here. Be sure that you're still subscribed to the channel, because YouTube has been unsubscribing people quite aggressively, and if you aren't watching at least 2 videos per week, you're likely to get unsubscribed from some of your favorite creators. So double check you're subscribed, make sure you turn on all notifications, and hit the like button, which is one of the ways you can keep yourself from getting unsubscribed. And if you've already got some thoughts on this, leave me some comments below as well. Let's jump into the conversation about, well, Superman, and whether or not it is going to make any money, because it's still at issue. And a lot of you say, why should I care about box office? Why should I care? What does that actually mean to me? Well, it means you may or may not get a follow-up in a franchise you might be interested in. It also gives some indication about how successful these studios are predicting what you want. In the case of Superman, it got some things right, got some things wrong, and well, it just got more right than anything Marvel produced this summer. From our friends at Cosmic Book News, Matt McGloin writes, James Gunn fires back at Superman budget talk as box office slows. And it slowed, but it didn't slow as precipitously as Fantastic Four. In fact, you probably want to take a look at a video I produced right up there. So apparently, Matt writes that James Gunn is pushing back on claims about Superman's budget and break-even point as the film box office slows. And it is slowing. I mean, it fell off like 40%, unlike a 60% fall like something else, and is just kind of going the way that films go. They descend in interest in the audience's zeitgeist as they exist longer and longer in theaters. Before we dive in, it could be possible that Gunn and Warner Brothers Discovery may be viewing Superman as their own Batman Begins, meaning a foundation film, which I would imagine that they would. Batman Begins earned only $375 million worldwide in 2005, but it set the stage for The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises, each of which went on to gross over $1 billion and give us one of the most impressive performances by an actor in history, Heath Ledger. Gunn's Superman does happen to follow a string of DC failures which haven't had success since the 2018 Aquaman, and the reason for that was the guy with the rippling muscles. It certainly wasn't anything else. However, Superman looks to finish with a box office less than Gunn's first Guardians movie, which grossed over $773 million back in 2014. Of course, Gunn had the benefit of a strong MCU at the time, which we can't claim Disney has at this point in time. What does James Gunn say about the Superman budget? Well, he denies a $650 million break-even claim. I wonder why. It seems reasonable. On Threads, a fan asked Gunn about a widely circulated claim that Superman would need to make $650 million to break even. Well, I've said that it's going to take at least that much to break even, because it likely needs way more than that. Gunn replied in this exchange here, absolutely false. Anyone saying that doesn't have any understanding of the film business. Careful there, Gunn. And we would be idiots to make a first-in-franchise film that would need to make that much to be profitable. Was Flash the best superhero film ever, James? I don't think so. Reported budgets tell a different story. Back in June, THR noted, that's the Hollywood Reporter, that official documents filed with the Ohio government listed Superman's gross budget at $363.8 million. Bam! Gunn dismissed that figure at the time, but a longtime financier told THR the number isn't correct. Okay, well, why file it then? DC has claimed that the net budget was closer to $225 million after tax incentives. Okay, so that might have been the budget? However, sources also told THR that marketing could run as high as $200 million. That seems about right. A little bit over the typical amount for a tentpole. $150 million would have been the typical amount. And when you combine all that together, well, you get close to that $400 million club, as Matt McGloin mentions. Matt's earlier report mentioned that the Hollywood Insider at Comic-Con also claimed that Superman's budget was surpassing $350 million. And again, seems likely. Largely due to reshoots, which we've confirmed, and aligning with the Ohio filing. Using the industry rule of 2.5 times production costs, which is actually higher now, but okay. That would put break even at roughly $875 million. That's a lot higher, which is well above the $650 million figure that Gunn denied. So maybe he's saying it's not high enough? I don't know. Current box office numbers as of Friday, again, a couple days, before we got through this weekend, Superman had grossed over $369 million, with 325 of that being from domestic, and as we know, those numbers are up much higher now. The overseas hauls is notably lower than the Batman's 400+ million, which helped push that film over 717 million worldwide. We're in a completely different market and different economic situation for the rest of the world at the moment. At its current pace, I'm guessing Gunn's Superman could finish around $630 million, well below the estimated break-even point for a $350 million or even potential $400 million production. Look, it doesn't take an advanced math degree to understand how things break down in the movie industry. So, frankly, what Gunn said was a little offensive to anybody who understands 2 + 2 is 4. Now, if you are using the new math like Gunn may be using, and maybe some Common Core bologna sausage, maybe 2 + 2 is 5 this time around. Or 3. We don't know. We do know that if there were some tax benefits that brought the number down, that would lower the break-even point. But what we don't have a solid understanding of, which I said at the beginning, is where the marketing fell. $150 or $200 million. And that would significantly shift the fulcrum so that it might be impossible to break even, no matter what James Gunn says. Anyway, those are my thoughts. What are yours? Do you think that this film has a chance to break even? Do you think it's going to exceed $650 million? Do you think it'll sniff 7? I'm starting to get a little bit concerned that it will not be able to touch $700 million, but I think that expectation fell out the window when the international box office did. Do you think that this film spent less than a normal tentpole budget for a summer film at $150 million, or do you think it spent more at $200 million? All of these factors are going to, well, kind of weigh in on whether or not this film can be profitable or not. Right now, it's not looking good. But then again, hasn't looked good for a lot of films this year, with the exception of, well, things that happened in the spring and not the summer. Well, and of course, the dinosaur movie with very few dinosaurs in it. But again, it's all because of international numbers. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below. And let me know any other thoughts you have about this summer's box office and its, shortcomings. And with that, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, and until next time, see ya! Probably over on that Park Place.